Good morning, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Jennifer. Hey, Kathy up there in red.
Hi.
Hi, Sandy.
Oh, Kathy down there.
No, the other Kathy.
Oh,
Reverend Dave, how you doing?
Well, Jesus, where are you at?
I'm walking to the terminal. I got like a mile.
Looks like the right weather for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the right weather is good.
Excellent. Hi, Claudia.
Here's Reverend Bill with your God call.
In these unusual, strange, and trying times, you know what's possible? You know what could happen next? Yeah, anything is possible. There is no need to assume that what happens next is going to be based in some way on what's happened before. That transformation is called a breakthrough, and the breakthroughs are always possible. So instead of trying to figure it out by looking in the rearview mirror, let's turn around, set an intention for the destination we'd like to reach, and allow the good to unfold.
We can rise above it all. We can climb above these walls. Don't know how much time we have to spend. Just got this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment, this moment. This moment. This moment, this moment, this moment. La bidadabani, la bidadabani. You know the story about a man with no shoes, running around singing the blues, till he finally found the truth on the street. He saw a man who didn't have no feet, often used to lament and sigh about all my troubles, I weep and cry. Now every moment I realize I'm just so lucky to be alive. We can rise above it all. We can climb above these walls. Don't know how much time we have to spend. Just got this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment, this moment. Ba-da-dee. What's to become of our romance? We get together when we get the chance. Meter's running and it drives me mad. I wouldn't trade a moment of what we've had. I wish I really knew where it all ends. Are we reborn? All our sins cleansed, or just absorbed into the universe? Being human, such a blessing and a curse. We can rise above it all. We can climb above these walls. Don't know how much time we have to spend. Just got this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment, this moment. Set up. Took a cruise across the sea. A hurricane washed over me. I see it as a second chance to change the rhythm in my dance. I guess this calls my 911. My waking life has just begun. I see the world through different eyes. Will I bewilder or be wise? We can rise above it all. We can climb above these walls. Don't know how much time we have to spend. Just got this moment, this moment, this moment. This moment, this moment. This moment, this moment. This moment, this moment. Ah, this moment. This moment. This moment.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And this is the Zoom applause because the audio works a little bit strangely. And for the most part, everybody's going to be invited to stay on mute so that we can have the audio work properly. But for this particular portion, we get that nice cacophony. So if you are interested, go ahead and unmute your microphone. And good morning, New Thought Philadelphia.
Good
Morning.
Welcome to a Fifth Sunday Healing Celebration. It is the fifth Sunday of the month, and we do a special healing celebration where we dive into the meaning of healing and healing prayer and how it works and what it does. And there's a bunch of activity and events going on in the world around us, which seem like a perfect time to do a Sunday for healing. So if you care to, repeat after me. I open myself to healing.
I open myself to healing.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to what's new and what's next.
Open
Open myself to what's new and what's next.
I know love is right here, right now.
I
I
know
know
love
love
is
is
right
right
here,
here, right now.
And so it is.
and so it is.
Thank you all so much. You can click your mute buttons back on again. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is by first-timer musician. Actually, she's been doing music for quite some time. She's first time with us. Phyllis Chappell. And our master of ceremonies is my partner in spirit, Reverend Dave Schbach.
Greetings. New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you here today, wherever you happen to be going next, we've been waiting for you, and welcome. We believe that there is one power, love, intelligence, or force, which we call spirit or God, that created everything, including each of us. And we are each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Or, as we say at New Thought Philadelphia, our new life begins with a new thought. So if you have any extraneous electronic devices, please invite you to turn them off at this time, just so they don't interfere with the meeting. And we begin our celebration as we begin everything, with a practical prayer. Today's prayer will be led by Breen Rourke, RSCP. For those who don't know, that's a practitioner of religious science.
Thank you, Dave. There is one power, one creative force of the universe. Everything comes in through as that one. It is at the core and edge of everything. It is spirit, it is God, it is force, it is divine, intelligent, infinite potentiality. And I know I am a unique and individual expression of that one, and so too is everyone. Everyone on this meeting, everyone associated with New Thought Philadelphia, everyone in the Philadelphia community and beyond. Everyone, everywhere, everything is an expression of that one. So this celebration is spirit in action. The words, the music, the ideas, the light that is each person glowing here and now to create this beautiful harmony. So I know this is a holy time, as is every moment of now. So I'm grateful to know this truth, grateful for this good expressing, grateful for New Thought Philadelphia, for the people, for the ideas, for the energy, for the spirit. So I claim good and only good for this celebration. And I know this is done. I put this creative word into the law that says yes, and yes, and yes. Into the law, I loose my word. Yes, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Breen. Come on. Thank you, Breen. I was just checking this. Sorry for the delay there. I was just checking on the mute, unmute situation. Happens in Zoom on occasion. Thank you so much, Breen. So as many of you know, at New Thought Philadelphia, we are firm believers in the effectiveness of prayer. And we like to check in with the community to see if anybody's got any prayer work stories that they'd like to share with the rest of us of something that's coming about and new in your experience. Jesus. Hang on a second. There we go. Were you
Hello?
hailing a taxi or actually raising your hand?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I guess I could walk and chew gum at the same time. My prayer work story is about wholeness. I can't put a finger on anything, but I know as I been to the spiritual practice class with my fellow classmate and the teachers, and almost every day I be going in the 15 minutes practical prayer and meditation. I ate at 6 with Reverend Bill, and I see as I do this and the way I'm volunteering myself for prayer, and since we don't have that many students, this is my second prayer that they've been doing for me. And I see I'm walking in joy, I'm walking in bliss, and I just wanna, it's just like the transfiguration with Jesus, John, and Peter, when they saw Elijah and Moses. They wanted to build some houses to stay there all the time. And that's the way I feel. I want to stay in this frequency that I am right now. And that's why I don't pretend that I'm there, but one thing I do, I strive forward. And even though if I don't get there, it's no big deal. I'm just enjoying the journey. The journey is what counts. It's not where you're going to get. I don't think I should worry what I'm going to get. And the way Reverend Bill do the practical prayer and the meditation, he knows how to use the words. Like, it's good to see other people join in and saying this is what they want, but then we touch and agree, and it's for everybody. So that's why I enjoy those 10 and 15 minutes. It's not that long, and it's just like a boost for your, it's good that we having miracles in a minute. But every day you're having a miracle, and I see a lot of people don't tune in. That's good. It's okay. That means their life is great. But I know if your life is good, my life is good too. But I wanted to unfold to better. Like I said, it was a saying, good, better, best. Never let it rest. And to good becomes better, and better becomes best. So if your life is good, open yourself, be receptive to more good. And that's what I'm seeing with myself. It's good, and I open myself to more good. So everybody around me is reaping the benefits. My wife is reaping the benefits. My granddaughters are reaping the benefits, because I see myself more generous, more compassionate, seeing and listening, and knowing that I don't got all the answers, that I could be the one that's wrong. So I check myself, and I look at myself saying, yeah, because as humans, we always think we're right. So thank you, Reverend Dave, for letting me share this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Anna, you had your hand up? Hang on.
I got out of work by 6:10 every day this week. So I appreciate the prayers for that. And then kind of going back to my prayers before I moved to New Orleans about like having a good place to live and what that looked like has been kind of a bumpy road so far, but I'm in the process of moving into somewhere that I'm really excited about and optimistic about and can be something longer term. So that's going really well also.
Excellent. Excellent. We'll put that back in the prayer list. Effortless moving into a perfect place. Love it. Anyone else? Well, thank you so much. We have a few announcements. They'll be brought to us by Joe this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The announcements for New Thought Philly are please join our Philly Spiritual Adventures group on Meetup. It includes our classes, workshops, events, and Sunday celebrations with new programs at various times and locations. It's also an easy place to let fellow adventurers know you'll be at an event. So, and it's a good place to get the Zoom link too. We're hosting daily online meditation, prayer, and support calls. They're short, usually less than 15 minutes. They include a check-in and a meditation on health, harmony, peace, and prosperity. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Saturday, we have a new time at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 6 p.m. They're open to all.
I just want to point out, Joe, those are the ones that Jesus was talking about in his prayer work story. He's been on a lot of those calls.
Right. They're open to all, and it's the same Zoom meeting as the Sunday celebration. The practical prayer workshop will be held on Saturday, June 20th from 12:30 to 5 on Zoom. You can learn the scientifically proven steps of effective affirmative prayer that are common to virtually all of the world's religions and spiritual practices. Is included for the Beyond Limits students, but all are welcome. The workshop fee is $25 for if you're not in the Beyond Limits class. It's a great workshop. I would highly encourage everybody to think about attending.
I also, just jumping in one more time, the Beyond Limits class is not currently on the schedule. It was going to be starting on Tuesday. We are going to be teaching a specialty class. It turns out that in the midst of a pandemic and all the other stuff that's going on, that perhaps there's an opportunity to dive into the material in a new and different way. So we'll be announcing something about that in the next week or so.
The Women's Circle will meet Thursday, June 25th, again by Zoom. You can contact me or Sandy for any more details, and we will be sending out an email to remind everybody about the meeting. Reverend Bill will lead the teen group at CSL Delaware. The June 7th meeting will be held on Zoom and is open to all teens. So if you know one or have one, they can contact Reverend Bill to register.
Maybe if you've just seen one.
We are now able to accept donations and payments via credit card in addition to PayPal. The new secure credit card platform also supports recurring donations. You can find it through the donate button on the website. And thank you to the production team who made our Zoom celebrations work. There will be a short technical rehearsal on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. If you'd like to take part, contact Reverend Bill. The reverends and practitioners are available for healing prayer sessions. You can contact any of us through the website. After the celebration, the practitioner of the day, which is Breen, I believe, is available for short, urgent prayer sessions at no charge. Reach out to Reverend Dave or Breen by Zoom chat or email at breen@newthoughtphilly.org to set up a brief phone call. You can contact Reverend Dave as well, but Breen, I believe, is the practitioner of the day. And we'll leave the Zoom meeting on after the celebration to answer questions and to allow you to talk with each other.
Thank you, Joe. So we have a special blessing for our first-time visitors. Anybody here for the first time, you could let us know, or just invite. Oh, Phyllis is here for the first time. Wonderful. Or you can remain anonymous and know that this blessing is for you. Please email us or sign up for our newsletter at the website, and we can keep in touch with you at whatever level you would like us to. When we meet in person, we look forward to meeting you. Everybody else, let's rub our hands together, generate a little loving warmth, good intentions and love, and send that out. You are the bright lights of divine love. Thank you for sharing your light with us, and welcome. Namaste. So at New Thought Philadelphia, we'd like to greet each other. During the next song, as Phyllis begins to sing, what we would normally do is wander around the room and give each other's hugs and handshakes and all that kind of fun stuff. But since we're in Zoom land here, what we're going to do is open our minds to love and peace and harmony, and bring to mind those people in the room or anywhere, and just send them your love. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Or you can give yourself a nice big hug and send it out to them as well. Phyllis?
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun up in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. Well, it's a new dawn and a new day, a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. Well, it's a new dawn and a new day, a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that is what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. Well, it's a new dawn and a new day, and a new life for me. It's a new dawn and a new day. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so very, very, very good. With all you beautiful people on this beautiful morning, I'm feeling good.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Phyllis.
Thank you.
And welcome to our first timers and also our long timers. We're now going to do the Flames of Faith, and I believe Sarah is reading.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As Reverend Dave lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is H.B. Jeffries, and it's going to be brought to us by Breen.
Thank you, Bill. H.B. Jeffrey, The Principles of Healing. And this was one of the books for the practitioner class, and I just opened the page and found something very, very appropriate, I thought, for today. The attention of most people is turned in the wrong direction. They're entertaining the wrong kind of thoughts and feelings. For man is spiritual. His desires are spiritual, and he is not really interested in non-realities. He wants the truth, and he is always being instructed in the truth, though he passes by it without hearing it. If he would turn in the right direction to God alone, he would receive the divine instruction of the infinite wisdom. His perception, his understanding, his whole being would be filled by the Holy Spirit. This is the instruction man wants. He really wants the things of the Spirit. His desires and craves inner things. He often misinterprets these cravings and therefore makes the mistake of seeking outwardly and trying to satisfy his hunger with outer things. He does not realize that he already is all that he wants to be, and all the things he wants are now present in all their perfection. The only trouble with man is that he does not know that God's kingdom is now within him in all its fullness. He does not know that the power and the glory of the divine is here, and that all now lives and moves and has its being in God. This is the truth, but to know it requires steadfastness. We must abide in the truth in order to know it. We must stand firm in the face of these things which challenge the mind with anything other than the truth. If we can fully and deeply know the truth will eventually set us free. But we are not abiding in the truth if we get distracted over something and feel badly and say, "Oh dear, why is it so?" It is not so, and we must be steadfast in knowing it is not so. It seems so. The seeming may be very pronounced, but it is all in the seeming. Lazarus seemed to be dead. He has been buried for 4 days. That was pretty strong seeming, but Jesus knew that Lazarus was not dead. The seemings are not true, no matter how strong they seem. When we realize the truth fully in our own consciousness, we shall be able to dislodge and dispel that fog of misconceptions, which we call the human mind, and free the individual. When anyone is freed through the clear, complete understanding of the truth, he is freed for all time. He will not return to that bondage in this life or the so-called life to come. It will be finished completely.
Thank you, Breen. And now we'll have some more music.
I wanted to share with you a Latin American song of hope and inspiration. I'll give you a little translation. I plunge my oar into the water. I have your oar in mine. I believe I see a light on the other side of the river. So many tears and I'm an empty glass. But I believe I see a light on the other side of the river. And I believe in spite of everything, all is not lost. And I hear a voice that calls out to me, almost like a sigh. Row, row, you gotta keep rowing. And I'm rowing seriously deep inside and I'm smiling because I believe I see a light on the other side of the river. Leia, Leia, la da da dee ya dee ya, la dee da dee, la da dee da dee, la dee. Clavo mi remo nell'acqua, llevo tu remo nel mio. Creo che he visto una luz al otro lado del río. El día le irá pudiendo, poco a poco a frío. Creo que he visto una luz al otro lado del río. Sobre todo creo que no todo está perdido. Tantas lágrimas, y yo soy un vaso vacío. Oigo una voz que me llama, casi un suspiro. Rema, 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 rema. En esta orilla del mundo, lo que nos presta es baldío. Creo que he visto una luz al otro lado del río. Yo muy serio voy remando y muy adentro sonrío. Creo que he visto una luz al otro lado del río. Sobre todo creo que no todo está perdido. Tantas lágrimas, yo soy un vaso vacío. Oigo una voz que me llama, casi un suspiro. Rema, 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 rema. La da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba da 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 da. I see a light. Ooh, I see it quiver. I see a light so bright, so bright. On the other side of the river.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Phyllis. So as I mentioned before, this is a fifth Sunday, is our fifth Sunday healing celebration. And healing in the language of New Thought is a little different than what some people are used to. Healing is not fixing problems. It's not repairing something broken. It's not making adjustments in the world around us to be more comfortable. Healing is the revealing of the truth. And the truth, as far as we're concerned, is that there's only love. Everything is created by that one power and presence, that one divine essence. And we can use the whatever creation story you have in mind. It could be, in the beginning there was darkness and void, and God said, let there be. Or we can use the Big Bang, that there was this impossibly dense singularity that exploded. But regardless of what it is, we can each track our lineage back to that point of creation. So we are all one. We are all from the same source. And we all exist in exactly that same environment where there is an intentional idea, let there be light, or bang. And that's a real thing. We know that it's a real thing because we all have reason to believe that it happened and can prove it or have faith in it in one way or another. And everything that happens in the world around us is an effect. It is the outcome of conscious intention. It is the outcome of one of those processes of stating, let there be. And sometimes what shows up in the world around us is delightful. And we think it's just awesome. And what a gorgeous day we're having today. It's easy to go outside and see the hand of the infinite in a beautiful day like today. And sometimes the stuff that's going on around us is just unpleasant. There are things that we don't like. I was so saddened yesterday. I was I was out in the backyard watching the rerun of the SpaceX launch, which was pretty spectacular. And I came back inside. My wife was watching real TV, and I said, "How are things going in Minneapolis?" She said, "Oh, things are going badly in Philadelphia." And then got to watch on the news as the conditions, and they're definitely conditions, unfolded. The street where my practitioner office is located was on fire, and people were looting stores, and all of that unrest. And it's easy to look at situations like that, or to look at a pandemic of an unknown infection that's making us all stay home or decimating our economy, and look at those effects and say, this is bad, this is horrible. We can wring our hands, and yeah, it is very unpleasant. It is very uncomfortable. And those are all effects. A lot of times when people are discussing how to fix the problems, what we're doing is we're looking at different ways to move around the things in the world of effect. What I like to do is understand that the change is going to come in consciousness. And by the way, I didn't make this up. Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness at which the problem was created. Now that's Albert Einstein, who knows a thing or two. So we can give him a little bit of latitude. No problem can be solved at the same level of consciousness that created the problem. Well, what created the problem? Well, there's a great book that Louise Hay wrote called You Can Heal Your Life. And what she does is she gives the physical symptoms and then what the beliefs are behind the physical symptoms. Like if somebody is having difficulty sitting, it's probably because there are things in their life that they consider to be a pain in the butt. And if they go through their life having a pain in the butt, then eventually it shows up in their body as a pain in the butt. And there are two metaphors that have come up for me. One is people with a knee of oppression on their neck. Now, normally that's a metaphor, but there's a video, and it brings that really into experience for a lot of people. And the next metaphor is a burning rage. And when that shows up in the world, you got to call the fire department. So what's behind those? It's not other things. We can say, oh, well, the problem is that there's a breakdown in law and order. No, law and order was where the problem came from to begin with. There is an attitude, there is a belief, and it's systemic. It's not any one individual who's got this difficulty. It's all of us. We want to see what we believe. We look at the world around us and see what we've created. And if we want to see something different in the world around us, we have to change our beliefs first. You know, and we can go into the world of condition. Well, wouldn't it have been better for everybody involved if George Floyd hadn't died? Well, yes. And he still would have been traumatized and victimized, and he wasn't the only one that was happening to. So that would have kicked the can down the road. And would that be more pleasant than where we are now? Who am I to say? Who are any of us to say? That's the situation as it unfolded. Would it be better if people were to protest peacefully instead of looting and rioting? In my opinion, yeah, that would be better. I wish that weren't necessary. And again, as somebody who would just to peacefully protest in an arena where they could get some visibility, they'd be Colin Kaepernick. And that didn't work. Taking a knee at the NFL games. So in order for something to happen, something is going to happen. And healing is the revealing of the truth. If the truth is we need to be engaging with each other on a more respectful and harmonious and uplifting level, then anything that doesn't look like that is going to cause a conflict, and that's where friction comes in, and you rub two things together or a bunch of things together long enough, eventually you're going to get smoke and a fire. And it's not particularly surprising. Another quote for you, it's from our friend Lou Doty, a musician. Wrote a song called Even Now, and my favorite line is, what we don't learn today, we learn tomorrow. What we don't learn from love, we learn from sorrow. We're at choice. We're always at choice. We can look at the world around us and try and change the world around us. And there's a lot of reasons why that's good. Being active and involved and taking steps in the world around us is crucial. As we say, you pray and move your feet. You pray first. And the prayer is to take it out of the world of effect and into the world of cause. What is the new experience that I want to be having instead of the experience I'm having now? If I'm looking at the news and watching the riots and protests and oppression and difficulties and challenges and illnesses and deceptions and all the rest of that that's going on, I can wring my hands and say, I hate that, and somebody should stop them. But the infinite doesn't know no. The infinite knows yes. The infinite always says yes. So what we get to do is decide what it is that we want to experience instead. And in some cases, we can be very specific about the way that we're inviting that to come into being. And if we don't know exactly how it's going to work, then we can just choose the experience we want to have and then turn it over to the infinite. One of the other quotes that I have is from Luke Shevsky, who wrote a great piece that was posted on Facebook yesterday. And I called him and I told him, well, that was my talk, so I'm going to have to think of something different. And I'm kind of embellishing. But some of the stuff that Luke says in there is spot on. And one of the things that I didn't notice as I was going through my thinking of this is that Luke's generation grew up after the 2008 financial collapse and find themselves to be a lot more focused on supporting people because the institutions aren't necessarily going to be there. So property value is much less important than the value of a human life. And that's crucial. That was wonderful to hear that and articulate it in such a beautiful way, because that's where the change gets to happen. And oh, by the way, being young, you have a much longer runway than a lot of other people might in order to change things and make them happen. And the other thing you pointed out is that there's another financial upheaval that's underway right now. We don't know what that's going to lead to. But it also made me think of when I was about your age, and I was the early 80s, and there was another financial upheaval with huge problems in unemployment and especially in inflation. So been there. And the only thing that I can set my intention for is as time unfolds and changes happen, that passion stays there rather than turning into complacency of wanting to, get the career and the house and the job. Well, it's all right now. It's like I'm busy taking care of my kids or whatever. because we're all creating the world that we are going to live in tomorrow. And we all get to do it intentionally. Ernest Holmes says we can look a fact in the face and know something better. We can look a fact in the face. We can look at a pandemic. We can look at inequality. We can look at looting. We can look at anything and know that behind it there is an opportunity, an invitation for something better. So I really want to see a world that engages differently with different sorts of people. What's the opposite of xenophobia? Xenophobia is where we only like people who are like us. Well, maybe it's not getting rid of xenophobia. It's maybe understanding that everybody is like us. I don't know. I don't know what it is for each of us individually. The other thing that Luke pointed out is the big thing that we all get to do is forgiveness. If we don't let go of the stuff that has brought us to the point where we are now, we're trapped in our history. We're looking at life through the rearview mirror. So when one of these challenging situations comes along, we have an opportunity to pivot, to go from what's been and look instead at what we prefer. I get to do that all the time. And so do you. And so does each of us. So what we're going to do today as part of our healing celebration is a meditation where we're going to be led. Breen is going to lead us in a meditation where we're going to let go of stuff that's been going on for us and open ourselves up to new experiences. We're going to be able to do an invitation. And as we do, I invite you to remember that no problem can be solved from the level of consciousness that created the problem. And that your consciousness is always free to go to a higher level. Breen?
Thank you, Bill. As Bill said, we're going to spend some time in meditation. And I know I find for myself, sometimes the best way to let go of something is to think of something else instead. So what I invite people to do is take this opportunity to we're going to settle our minds and settle our bodies and open our hearts to what's new and what's next, and how is love going to express and unfold now and moving forward. So I invite you to just take this opportunity to get comfortable in your chair or your bed or wherever you're sitting, your sofa. Sit in a comfortable but upright position. Your back is straight, your head is elevated. Perhaps put your hands on your lap, palms up. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or allow them to go to a soft focus. And just relax. And just be right here, right now in this moment. Set aside, for now, thoughts of what was, thoughts of struggle or turmoil. Just right now, here in this moment, just be here now. And breathe. The body knows what to do. The mind can let go. Just allow. Let's take a deep breath and hold it at the top. Breathing in. Hold and release. Just feel yourself relax. We'll do that 2 more times. Breathing deeply, holding for a moment just to feel the tension, then allow yourself to relax. Breathing in, hold, and exhale, and relax. Breathe in deeply, hold, and exhale and relax. I know that love is. Love is. Allow that to wash over you. Allow that to fill you. Love is. Breathe it in. Deep inside, love is. Breathe it out into the world. Love is. Allow that love to guide and inform your idea, your intention, your belief. What experience you want. What cause. What creative force you allow to move through you. Love is.
So as we allow these intentions to form fully in our consciousness, we allow them to settle in to our very being. And we can activate them. And we activate them by making a commitment to ourselves to be in this way in the world. A commitment is more than just that passing, oh, I'm going to try that. Commitment is when we place ourselves fully into an idea and pursue it in all conditions. whether it be love or compassion, wisdom, whatever has been brought forward through this meditation, we can commit to being that in all circumstances. So as Phyllis begins this next song, in recognition of that inner commitment, I will light a candle and choose whichever one suits you as being that which represents your commitment to this new way of being.
No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. But I have learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you've got. I had my share, I drank my fill. And even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road beyond the hill and do it all again. So here's to life and all the joy it can bring. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Funny how the time just flies, how it can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes and leave you with the memories you've memorized to keep your winters warm. Where is the yes and yesterday? And who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away? But as long as I'm still in the game, I want to play for laughs, for life, for love. So here's to life and all the joy it can bring. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee, ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee, la-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee. So here's to life and all the joy that it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, here's to you, here's to you. May all your storms be weathered and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, here's to you, here's to you, here's to all of you.
And so I speak this word on behalf of each one and all of these intentions, knowing that that divine source, that infinite power, that substance from which everything emerges, that unconditioned field of love that is sharing itself through and as absolutely all there is sharing itself in and as me and in and as each one of us. that that divine source is fully present in all of its power and balance and harmony in all of its parts. And so it is fully present in and as each person as an individual expression of its own nature. And so I claim for each one that this divine idea, this intention that has been set, is that infinite intelligence finding a new channel of expressing the goodness of its being through and as the individual. It is knowing the fullness of itself, providing and supporting with all that is required to bring this about in condition, all of the resources, all of the connections, all of the ideas, all of the activity, all of the words are present as an expression of spirit, bringing forward ever greater harmony, ever greater equality, ever greater expression of good for all through the channel of each one. I give thanks for these intentions, for I know that they are spirit unfolding. I give thanks to know that this is the goodness of being, finding a higher level of expression in this and each moment beyond any condition. That this is the new consciousness, bringing about clarity and love in this and each moment. I give thanks to release this word to a law that has all of the power, all of the intelligence, all of the means necessary to bring this about in the conditional reality in this very instant. For the power of spirit is not bound by time and space. It is the good of God expressing as everything now. That is what is happening. This good is coming forward in this moment now. So I accept it. On behalf of each one on this call and each one everywhere, I establish it in my consciousness fully and completely, knowing that it is established in the consciousness of the one, and the law is activated with all that is required to bring it about. For that's what the law does. It says yes to the idea, yes to the good, yes to the love, yes to the balance, the harmony, and the peace that is its very nature. So I give thanks on behalf of each one on this call and myself, and I allow it, accept it, and know that it is so. And so it is.
A-E-I-O-U. All words are connected, and no directive can spoil the stew. Skin on top of bone hides what's inside us. Our hearts combine us. Love is the glue. In a time long ago, all the lands were as one, a connection sold from a planet so young. Then the world broke apart into dissident strains, and even though the oceans divide us, still the connection remains. A-E-I-O-U, we all are connected, and no election makes that untrue. Land and sea and sky and you and I all will be affected. Let's be selective in what we do. And even though the oceans divide us, still the connection remains. A-E-I-O-U, we all are connected. And no election, not even this one, makes that untrue. Land and sea and sky and you and I all will be affected. Let's be selective in what we do. Let's be selective in what we do. We're all connected. And love is the glue. Love is the glue.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Phyllis. It's awesome. So a couple of observations. Healing is the revealing of the truth. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. That was Albert Einstein. And do your little bit of good where you are. It is the little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. That was Desmond Tutu. So this is a time we all get to, if we want, give voice to whatever's come up for you during our healing celebration today, and share it with the group. Anybody just raise your hand or unmute and feel free to share. Leanne, let's go ahead and unmute you. There you go.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to welcome you, Phyllis Chappell. You are so talented. The music really moved my soul, and I feel so grateful to be a part of this community. And I wanted to thank everyone for always being there, being very supportive. I feel the energies and they're amazing. It's always high vibe every time I check in with everyone. And I was honored to be able to do a Healing Earth ritual yesterday with my good friend Claudia. And I felt so renewed, you know, honoring Mother Earth, Gaia, and also all the sentient beings around the globe that are struggling, you know, whether it be with lower vibration, anger, resentment, violence, you know, anything that is moving them in a direction that is not awakening from a soul level. And I felt like there was a shift, like we pivoted. You know, Reverend Bill had mentioned that earlier about, you know, pivoting your focus in a new direction. And that's what we did during the ceremony. We did some chanting for the sacral and the solar plexus chakras, so people can become more empowered and awaken to know who they really are, because we are that star essence. We are, you know, one with God. And it's so beautiful when you go through this realization, and then you can share this and many other gifts that surface once you truly, you know, experience this journey on your path. And so I want to reiterate what Jesus had said earlier about the journey. It's all about your journey. And don't be attached to the end result. You know, stay in that intuition, stay in that inner wisdom, that inner knowing, that guidance system that is a part of us, because we do live magical lives and we can have it all. It can be awesome. It can be blissful. We can be in joy, and we can all do this as a collective. We just need to focus and pivot in the direction of all good, and it will come to us. So thank you everyone for being a part of my soul tribe. I feel so honored to be a part of this group and this collective. Many blessings to all. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Yeah, I'll share one that come up for me, and that's Black Lives Matter. And when that first was coined some number of years ago, I thought, well, yeah, obviously, of course, Black Lives Matter, and furthermore, all lives matter. And that got purloined. All lives matter was sort of made to be the opposite. And this week I heard what it really meant. And unlike for me, usually, the language is negative. And it really brings it home. Until all lives matter, Black lives don't matter. Or until Black lives matter, no lives matter. So we're all in this together. And hearing that come full circle was really helpful for me. The way that Luke put it was, Black lives matter. If you feel the need to argue this point, dig into your ego and find out which emotional blockage prevents you from experiencing empathy. An arrow right from the head, Luke, hitting the heart. Thank you. Carol.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really hard for me. I'm really happy to be here today, although I have some kind of mixed feelings about things that have been said. It's really hard for me because I've been an activist since the 1960s and gone to many demonstrations. So in addition to being a protester, I'm also a trained peacekeeper. And many, the stories I could tell about demonstrations I've been to and what I've done in my journey. And it's just enormously frustrating for me now because of my age, that under the current situation with the threat to my health at my age, that I can't be on the front lines and be doing something, either as a protester, as a peacekeeper, as the legal observer. I could be any of those things, and I can be none of those right now. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Joe?
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website. You can make a donation through PayPal, or you can mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering information is on the screen, and we can say it together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am the center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gifts. I share my gifts with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive. And so it is.
Okay. My turn now? Okay. I wanted to do an Israeli song. The lyrics are taken from the book of Deuteronomy, where the children of Israel are wandering in the desert, just struggling to survive, and they ask for divine intervention. He made them to suck honey from the rocks. That's pretty tough. But they survived, and that's what we got to do. We got to survive the tough times. In the middle of the song, I put in a prayer in Hebrew and in Arabic that says how good it will be when all people on this earth can dwell together in peace and harmony. An ever, ever more elusive dream, but we can only hope. Vainikehu, Vashmisela, Vainikehu, Vashmisela, Vainikehu, Vashmisela, Vainikehu, Vashmisela, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Tuk Tuk, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Bishemein Bechal Mitzur, Tuk Tuk. שבת כולנו גם יחדיו, באחלה אליפוי סוואה, שוב דליקווי למחה בסוואה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת כולנו גם יחדיו, באחלה אליפוי סוואה, שוב דליקווי למחה Dash me sela, vainikehu, dash me sela, vainikehu, dash me sela, vainikehu, dash me sela, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, tzuk tzuk, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, Ishemin bechal mitzvah, tzuk tzuk, vainikehu, dash me sela, sela. Thanks so much for having me. It's been such an inspiration. Thank you for all those words of wisdom, and I just really love being here. Love you all.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's absolutely, you're a blessing and your music is wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So that brings us to the conclusion of our celebration today. We are grateful for all of the donate buttons that have been pressed and are pressed in the future. Normally we would stand up and hold hands, so go ahead and hold hands. You can just hold your own if you want to. Go ahead and, actually, before you hold hands, go ahead and unmute so you can do a repeat after me and we can have a nice cacophony to close with. So go ahead and repeat after me. I am love.
I am
love.
Let love flow.
Let love flow.
I am light.
I am light.
I let my light shine.
I let my light shine.
I am a channel of good.
I am a channel of good.
Good flows into the world.
That flows into the world.
So it is.
And so it is.
Thank you guys all so much for being here. What a blessing it is to share this last day of May with you.
Join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship of our own rooms on Zoom. If you'd like an urgent prayer, Breen is the practitioner of the day, so you can send him a chat message or an email. If you send one to me, I'm going to forward it to him.
Perfect.
But if you want to talk to me, I'd be delighted to pray with you as well.
Hey, Jesus, are you in the air or are you still taxiing and stuff?